This afternoon, we're following that breaking news on Interstate 35 in North Austin. Police say they arrested this man, Solomon Weldekil Araya, after a deadly crash there. He's facing 5 counts of intoxication manslaughter with the vehicle, as well as 2 counts of intoxication assault with the vehicle. Police sources confirmed with us that Araya drove a semi-truck hauling for Amazon. A statement from that company today says the driver involved in the crash is not an Amazon employee, but instead a third-party contractor. First responders told us that this wreck killed 5 people. Those victims include 3 adults, 1 child, and an infant. The crash also injured 11 others, and those injuries range from minor all the way to critical and life-threatening. The National Transportation Safety Board also opened a safety investigation into the crash. I-35 has now reopened after closing for a lengthy period today to clear away all that wreckage. Joining us this afternoon for some more insight about all of this is our Grace Reader. Grace, thanks for joining us. And I know you're looking into the criminal investigation into this. Now that an arrest has been made, what happens next?
Yeah, well, I want to first be really clear that just because an arrest has been made and charges have been filed does not mean that this investigation is anywhere near its conclusion. In fact, like you said, the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, says that they are now on their way to Austin to help with the investigation. They told me, quote, the investigation GO team will include experts in highway survival and vehicle factors, human performance, and motor carrier factors. Then there are 2 legal parts here, one being civil lawsuits against what we assume will be the truck driver and potentially the companies involved here. Those lawsuits will likely involve surviving victims and family members of the people who died. Then there's also the possibility of criminal prosecution, like we saw in Hayes County when the driver of a concrete truck hit a school bus. I talked to Scott Turner. He's the principal and chief consultant at Truck Accident and Incident Experts LLC. They handle investigations just like this one from the legal side. He gave me an idea of just how long this might take.
From what I understand, this was a rear-end crash coming into a queue of vehicles. I've responded to many of those, and they're usually pretty pernicious crashes. So it takes a while to break all that down. Litigation side of it can take years, several years, 3-4 years.
Well, it's worth repeating that this investigation is far from done. I'm told that their investigators are going to look at other things. For example, the condition of the truck, how the brakes and the tires were. They also have a log of how long these drivers or this driver had been driving. They'll look at that as well, Will.
Yeah, thank you so much for adding that much context to this. While this suspect, as we mentioned, is now in custody, what have you learned about the Travis County District Attorney pursuing a criminal investigation with this?
Yeah, well, this is still early, but I did talk to the district attorney's office. Jose Garza's office does say that they have been in touch with the Austin Police Department since this morning. They told me, quote, our office is committed to seeking justice for the victims and their families and will continue to support APD in their investigation. But with an investigation that is this big in scale, it is unlikely that the district attorney's office has received any affidavits or any of the evidence that police have collected so far. This is very early, Will.
Very early indeed, but when will we know what role the trucking companies may have played in this?
Yeah, that's going to take a while too. That's going to be part of all of this investigation, but we're likely to see more of that on the civil side. I talked to an attorney today, an Austin attorney, who said that he is representing someone who was actually hit by an 18-wheeler just about a month ago, not that far from here. That attorney's name is Adam Lowy. You're going to hear from him more tonight at 5 o'clock. He told me that some of the things that he would be looking for were not only just with the truck and what's going to be happening in the investigation, but also how much this company may have known about their drivers. For example, do they do drug tests? Do they do background checks? That's something that we're going to find out more about as the civil process plays out, Will.
Reader reporting live for us again in North Austin on this deadly crash today. Thanks so much again for this context.